Hello, just a quick video talking about Expedition 33. This video contains no spoilers, by the way, but I just want to talk about the game and maybe gush over it a bit after 100% completing the game. I've done every journal, I've killed every boss, I've explored the game 100%, so I just want to kind of get a few things off my chest. Going into this, I wasn't too sure if this game would be for me because it's turn-based, and the last turn-based games I really enjoyed was Final Fantasy VIII and Final Fantasy X, and that was when I was in middle school. It wasn't too long ago I was wondering to myself, why don't I enjoy these turn-based games anymore? I used to love the old Final Fantasy games when I was young, and I was thinking, oh, maybe I'm just getting old, maybe I don't have the patience that I used to, and yeah, this game's kind of proved that wrong. I definitely can still get into a turn-based game, so that's completely changed my mind on something. Additionally, those of you that watch the channel regularly, you'll probably know that I often say I don't really care about story in games too much. Playing this game's also made me rethink that belief as well, because I really cared about the story in this game. Maybe I only care about story if the story is told in a truly compelling way, which it is in this game. Right off the bat, during the game's prologue, I was instantly interested and intrigued to find out more about the game. Why is this Paintress lady erasing people every year and it's going down every year? The whole premise of the story I found to be super compelling, and I also liked that it was like a hopeless adventure. You was marching an expedition into what seems to be certain doom. And there was just such an interesting feeling of going into the unknown. So that was really compelling. The game did a great job in the first hour or so of making me care about the characters. Watching how the characters interacted with each other was really interesting. I thought it was quite realistic. The characters speak to each other like actual humans. At times they'll talk over each other, they'll interrupt each other. And the emotion on their faces during the cutscenes was fantastic. The game explores some quite dark topics later on, and I was just really impressed by the storytelling and the cutscenes. The cinematics in this game feel like something from a AAA studio, and I found out that this game was made by a team of 30 people. 30 people, some of which were ex-Ubisoft. So the game it took like 5 years to make, so the game probably cost like $30 million. This feels like a game that's made by a massive AAA studio. Although maybe saying that nowadays, maybe that's not a compliment. The best games recently have been these like mid-size studios, but they've just done an absolutely fantastic job. I can't believe such a small team has made a game this large. The visuals on the zones, absolutely breathtaking. This game, it doesn't look like your typical Unreal Engine slop that doesn't have a unique art style. This game has a fantastic, unique aesthetic to it. It's done a great job of like really pushing Unreal to its limits. The gameplay itself, I think that was a big thing that's kept me hooked with this game. Normally with turn-based games, the reason I don't like turn-based is you press a button, you do your attack, okay, that's fun, and then you have to wait for the enemy to do their thing. And it feels like you're just kind of waiting around too long for an enemy to do something on their turn. That's why I don't like turn-based. But this game has basically removed half of what I don't like about turn-based games by making the enemy's turn actually the most engaging part of the gameplay experience, because you're trying to parry their attacks to get a counter attack off, which oftentimes does more damage than your normal attack. So it almost felt like a Dark Souls-y in a way. It's like Dark Souls, but you're not moving around. You're constantly trying to like dodge, parry, counter, and you're hyper-focused on what the enemy's doing. So as far as gameplay goes, this is the most engaging turn-based game that I've ever played. And for this reason, this is why I would recommend this game to people that aren't typically fans of turn-based games. Immediately upon maybe like the first 10 or 20 hours, I was fucking messaging all my friends, dude, you need to play this game. I know you don't typically like turn-based games, but trust me, this is really, really good. It was one of those. This is one of those games where you just kind of tell everyone, You have to try it. It's super special, and the music in this game, oh my god, absolute S tier. There were times where like you'd go through a cutscene, it would the cutscene would finish, and then the fucking music kicks in, and I could feel the hair on the back of my neck just popping up, and the music just does so much to elevate and enhance the gameplay, especially for the boss fights. You've got like super epic music, you've got super emotional music. I'm not gonna lie, there's been a few cutscenes where it has shed a tear from me. Yeah. Every character in the game I found to be super likable. There wasn't one annoying character. When the game started and you're like first introduced to Mael, I thought, for fuck's sake, a kid character. Normally in games I find kid characters to be super annoying and whiny and bratty, but no, she was a super likable character. Every character I found to be very likable. You was also able to empathize with them. Because the storytelling in this game is quite mature, and it tackles some quite dark topics. A lot of the debates the characters have between them, you're able to see both sides. I was able to empathize with with multiple characters that are having disagreements with each other. You're able to see things from both sides in this game. There isn't really right or wrong. I loved the overworld. The overworld reminded me of Final Fantasy VIII, so seeing that was quite a surprise, and it was also quite nostalgic. The overworld contains a lot of optional content, and my only critique for this game, I don't even know if it's fair critique, but it did kind of hinder my experience with the game, is that there's so many optional areas, optional bosses, that when you're doing the MSQ, you don't know if you're going to get a chance to go back and do this content. Well, I didn't anyway. So I was basically clearing every optional area that I could as soon as it became available, and it resulted in me being a little bit overpowered towards the end of the game when I was finishing up the MSQ, because I was worried it was going to be one of those games where you beat the story and then you can't go back and clear out the optional stuff. That isn't how it is. So if I was to go back and play the game again, I would focus on just doing the MSQ stuff at the power level that it was probably intended, because you can just follow the main story and it should keep you pretty much powerful enough to do most of the content. But at the same time, if you are stuck on the MSQ and you do feel weak, then you can always just go out to some optional areas, clear those, and get a little bit stronger. I don't think that's a spoiler. If I'd have known that information, it would have made my experience with the game even better. But holy fuck, there's a lot of optional content. I would say there's an equal amount of optional content, optional areas, bosses, and stuff to explore as there is the MSQ. The game feels absolutely massive. I can't believe such a small team made such a massive game. I think I'm at about 50 to 55-ish hours after completing everything. What else did I enjoy about it? The way the game adds new mechanics at a regular pace as you're playing throughout the MSQ. I think fairly early into the game I thought, okay, I've got the dodge, I've got the parry, I've got the counterattack. I've surely got access to the full combat system, right? But the game just keeps eventually slowly adding these extra little things to keep things interesting at certain points in the game, and I thought that was very well paced, and it also left you with a feeling of, okay, well what's next? The Pictos system, I thought that was super interesting. It almost enables the game to have ARPG level build potential, and you can just get so much Lumias on each character and just slot so many different things into them. The build potential is crazy. There's tons of weapons. So from the whole building your character perspective, I really enjoyed that. Aside from that, the game has some of the most cinematic, epic boss fights I think I've ever seen in any game ever. I can't think of a game that has more epic scenes than this. So before I start rambling, let's just summarize it. Expedition 33 has the best cutscenes I've ever seen in a game. It has the best soundtrack, the best turn-based gameplay, the best story, the best intro that gets you hooked into the game very quickly and makes you want to find out more. It's got tons of content, stunning graphics. It's got some of the best characters I've ever seen in an RPG that are incredibly likable and you're able to empathize with all of them. I just want more games like this. yeah, that's all I can say. I don't know why the Final Fantasy games went away from being turn-based to being like action combat. I feel like that's a shame. That's kind of when I lost interest in the Final Fantasy series, to be honest. But Expedition 33, even though it's not a Final Fantasy game, it is the best Final Fantasy game I've ever played, basically. Unbelievable that 30 people made a game like this. I fucking pray that they make another game of this genre. Sandfall Interactive, 10 out of 10. Great job. Highly recommend this game to absolutely everyone. Game of the year for me. Sorry if this video was a bit of a ramble. I just wanted to talk about my experiences with it, since it has consumed my life, cooked my brain for the past 2 weeks. And it's really made me reconsider what I enjoy about gaming. It's changed my mind on a few things. Maybe I should stop saying, oh, I don't care about story in games. Oh, I don't like turn-based games. You know a game is really fucking good when it makes you change your mind on a core belief that you have about yourself. And that's what Expedition 33 has done. So can't get higher praise than that.